Hello, mock mates. I'm Ralphie. This is the Whisky Bothy. The channel is called the Whisky Bothy, and as you can imagine, I'm reviewing whisky and talking about whisky because it's something I get considerable enjoyment of, and probably because I don't focus on drinking lots and lots of alcohol. The experience is about quality, not quantity. And part of that experience, part of the quality of the experience, is engaging in forensics, doing my Sherlock Holmes private investigation into learning more about whisky, not just official bottlings from distilleries, but also, because so many are available, is the independent bottlings. And I think probably, as a whisky drinker, the first time you'll really become aware of the independent bottlers is when you go into a specialist liquor store where they have a lot of variety of small volume, small production, eccentric, singular, integrity delivered spirits, which are focusing in flavour. They do tend to cost more, but that's because there's more investment within the production of them. And when we're looking at, in these shops they'll be selling all spirits, but when we're in the whisky corner, we're looking at the official bottlings, many of which we'll recognise, and we'll see familiar brands like Johnnie Walker, like Chivas Regal, like Glenlivet, for example, and obviously you will see Macallan. It's still ubiquitous despite its declining reputation. But you'll also see bottlings that you've never seen before from names of bottlers, and initially you think, well, which distillery is that? But it's not a distillery. These businesses, these whisky makers, are independent bottlers. Now, notable examples are Signatory, for example, or Compass Box is a very good example, where they are blending different whiskies together and delivering it as a quality experience at a higher strength, natural colour, unchill filtered, because we know the value of that and what it really means. And they know that we will pay a light premium for the theatre, for the experience of buying that bottle. Now, a good example here is one that I've literally just reviewed from James Eadie. And what you'll find is, over time, you start to gravitate to reliable independent bottlers. And a good example of that is Signatory Vintage. It used to be that the most available, the most widely distributed was Gordon MacPhail, but they're kind of winding things down now as they focus on their single malt distillery businesses. It's 2 distilleries, I believe they have now. And in the meantime, it kind of leaves a gap in the market, because there's no doubt about it. The specialist enthusiasts like you and I that take more than a passing interest in whisky, we're looking for the authenticity of the experience that we're investing in, because we're buying what we review. And this is a classic example of that. And let's start with the price here. What you're probably wanting to know, of all the independent bottles of whisky out there, Ralphie, why did you buy this? Number of reasons. Let's start with the price. I bought this for £90. This is cask strength, single cask, Scotch single malt whisky for less than £100 a bottle. Not only that, it's unchill filtered and natural colour. It is fully authentic presentation. You don't get better integrity than this. Another thing that appealed to me was there's no box, no carton, no container, no frilly wrappings comes with this. When you buy the bottle is what you get. It's completely unpretentious. It's grounded. I'm also looking at the information in the front of the label, and importantly, it's telling me what I want to know as an informed whisky drinker. So this is me now engaged in forensic. The price is right. The bottle sitting in the shelf being overlooked by less experienced whiskey drinkers because they're saying, oh, it's Milton Duff. Milton Duff, that's blend filler. We've been told by the experts that it's not a very good malt because it doesn't have an awful lot of flavour because they just use it for padding out their blended whiskies. This is a huge disservice to this style of single malt. It is a soft, ambient style of single malt, which is really good at bonding and bringing together in a blend the placid grain whiskies and the assertive single malt components. This binds them together beautifully. And other examples like Milton Duff would be, for example, Strathmill, Tullybarden, Glenkeith, another great example. So it's very easy to bypass this style of bottling because you're thinking, well, that looks interesting, but why risk it? Why don't I go for something safer? But this is where your mobile device is particularly handy. Here it is. Here's my mobile device. Because basically you're in the shop, you just go online, right? And you find out what are the reviews like. You go to Whiskey Base, you go to Whiskey Fun. You get second-hand or second perspective views on what you're thinking of buying. After all, if you're looking to buy quality, never be in a rush to do so. Also, if you're fortunate, you've got experienced, enthusiastic members of staff who, when they get these bottles in, they don't tell you, but in fact they get small sample bottles so they can taste and try before they stock up. So they know the quality of the whiskey. And also, they want to sell you a bottle of whiskey. They want you to walk out the door, go home, pour a glass out that bottle and say, I'm glad I bought that whiskey. I'm glad I shopped at that shop. I know I'm paying a little bit extra, but it's worth the premium for the quality of the purchase experience. This is all part of Whiskey Forensics. So James Eadie, small family company, noted for their practical presentation of good quality whiskey, which has had good husbandry of casks. They source good casks, they mature in good casks. Casks are everything with whiskey. After the signature of the single malt, casks are everything. A bad cask can ruin a great whiskey. A good cask can absolutely make a bad whiskey fantastic. That's the way it works. Again, it's this peripheral forensic knowledge. James Eadie is a company. They have good relationships with a number of distilleries. They're involved in a provenance or pedigree grain program with a number of distilleries who are basically looking at reintroducing flavour into whiskey, amplifying that flavour through different varieties of original grains which give a lower alcohol yield but a higher flavour yield, for which they know that the informed customer will pay a light premium. This is very much happening at this moment in time. James Eadie as a company are also involved in publishing or republishing some fascinating whiskey deep dive books, real collectible enthusiast stuff. So I commend them for it. They're always an independent bottler on my radar, for a very good reason, is I've never been disappointed yet with a bottle that I've bought. Having said that, I take full responsibility, as do you, because we have to, that we're careful what we buy. Because the more we invest in whiskey forensics, looking for value and the quality and return of investment, the more we are invested in that and take our time to do it properly, the more we're rewarded with better buys, and even more, we start to buy whiskies which we used to be perhaps a little bit frightened of or overlooked, because of the bad press that's associated with a particular single malt, like Milton Duff. This is delicious. What I'm enjoying about it as a seasoned old hack of many decades is that this is just a soft, gentle, light, characterful, understated, quiet malt. And it's not just about the flavour, it's about the form, it's about the singularity of the single malt. And I'm enjoying that so much with this, but only because I've invested in the forensics, in the deep dive. And it's a challenge. It takes time and it takes energy and it takes effort. But when you're online and active in the online communities, and when you go to whisky festivals and when you're in whisky clubs, it really, really speeds up your ability and your qualification, your time-served apprenticeship, maltmates, in whisky forensics. I wish you luck. I'm Ralphie, here to help. Hope you've enjoyed this review. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.